Game 4, Erikur vs Plogen, both definitely up there in the 1700s, although Erikur right now is in the 1600 plus range, but he's an incredibly solid player, showing consecutive great performances in the Norwegian community tournaments, and most recently winning the Desert Cup, arranged through the Norwegian Age of Empires 2 Discord. And yeah, I'm talking about Erikur, but this is Plogen. And not sure how many of the recent tournaments he's been participating in the Norwegian tournament, but he's obviously a solid player, finding his way into Age of Empires Definitive Edition after having been playing on Ruble, probably also HT back in the day. Really seasoned, solid player. Now peaking close to the 1200, no, sorry, 1200, say, peaking close upon the 1800 1v1 elo range. That's pretty impressive. His effectively, both of these guys are top 5 Norwegian players of AOE2. But Plogen is down 2-1 here, and has picked Golden Pit for his home map for this one. So Golden Pit, obviously all about the middle as the game moves on. This is where the stones and golds are. You start only with 3 tile golds at your home base, and if I were Plogen, I would actually consider the restart here, just looking at the golds here. Because when you're up against Mayans here, obvious Archer Civ, if you have both of your golds forward like this, that's just not ideal. But we'll see what... Sorry. We'll see what happens moving on. Maybe he'll use his mobility as Berbers here and go for being the aggressor and try and obstruct Mayans here. Because Erikur with the Mayans has a little bit better map. He has the 3 tile gold to the side here, could actually wall all the way to the edge of the map and secure this gold. This one a little bit more awkward, but he'd probably place the walls like this, and maybe out here, if he has the whole side scouted. Plogen forward already, maybe worried about the pre-middle rush from Mayans here, so he's going to run in and eventually find Erikur here, hopefully. Sometimes it's tough to find the opponent on Golden Pit. And actually Erikur is forward looking for Plogen as well, so just a matter of time before they find each other here. As Plogen actually commits a villager to convert the last few sheep he's been finding over here. Alright, they're discussing naming here. And restart before minute 4 is the rule, so I think they've been thinking about restarts here. So Plogen was considering the restart. In the end, wanted to call it, understandably so, looking at the golds and everything here and struggling with the sheep. Also struggling to find the opponent, apparently, but found TC. Okay, so he simply was saying, did he lose the scout? But he obviously didn't. It's still here scouting. Let me see if I can pull up the message history. Can't really. So, but a restart was in the line of thinking for Plogen here. He hasn't spent a restart yet, as far as I know. That was Erikur after losing 2 villagers to Elephant on Nomad. Plogen with the villager lead, though, that is actually impressive against Mayans, who start with 1 extra villager but take Loom right away. But that still means that Erikur has had a little bit of idle time, I'd say. It equates to 1 villager, the time that it takes to research Loom. No Loom for Plogen though, but again, slight head start. Eagle Warriors here to try and snipe some balding villagers. Really going heavily on the walls here for Plogen, but with 3 villagers this close, the Eagle Warrior shouldn't be able to get any significant pick off here. It's also a good call by Plogen to invest into those walls, because he's been forward, he's scouting, he's seen the pre-middle rush coming as well, or if it was pre or post, I don't quite recall. Erikur trying to deny the walls here, but the militia, or also called Angry Housewives on my channel, will not have an entry point here. So Eagle Scout, I mean, takes some damage here, as Militia will try to break through but will not succeed. And with these extensive walls, Plogen secures his hunt very close to the middle here. Can make use of that. Could also be used the villagers to quick wall here, so that effectively keeps the Drush out. Double palisades going up as well to make sure that any early aggression from the Mayans doesn't get through here. Erikur he knows he's the aggressor, so he doesn't really seem to stress the walls here right now. Maybe confident after winning 2 games in a row as well. But here comes a mill. It's actually milling the hunt as well for maximum potential here. May have been floating some extra wood to justify doing so. And wants that food boost to get up. Scout on the alert on the right hand side as well, but will not be able to deny the last bit of walls of Plogen here. Means that the Drush here with these militia will probably not be allowed through, and the worst thing they'll cause is some arguably some idle time in the extra walling here from Plogen. So Drush fast castle for Erikur, but in a sense it would be straight fast castle for Plogen then, from the looks of it. Even though that wall investment does take a lot of wood, he's left with more wood in the bank here to drop what he needs. Would probably drop a barracks at some point, or just invest into farms and make the military production buildings later. But considering that Erikur has spent 60 gold and 180 food on the militia, it leaves Plogen in an arguably better position here. So it's going to be 5 farms. The hunt is being brought in as well. That's some bonus food. 1 deer outside of the wall, unfortunately, but it's still 300 or a little bit over 400 extra food from the hunt here. As Erikur is the first to feudal, going for the 1 range Drush into archers here for Erikur, or potentially Drush fast castle crossbows if the next building he places is a smith. Let's look at the setup here. Yeah, definitely Drush fast castle crossbows here. Soon having the food needed to get up. Did make full use of that hunt. Is not full wall though, something Plogen probably regrets by now that he didn't go for the scouts, because he would have so much potential on the enemy side here with a scouts forward with Berbers. His scouting is on point though for Plogen. He sees the range going up, may see the blacksmith. Or if he didn't, he'd see the score drop and suspect that Erikur is on the way up here. Blacksmith for Plogen, that's 1 out of 2 buildings he'll need to get up, so his castles will be slower here. But here comes the stable as well, so that castle age click is also right around the corner for Plogen, who commits to some villagers production while the second building is being rushed up here. I think he wanted to task all the villagers to build here, but sometimes they just don't comply, so this dude has been idling for no reason whatsoever. That is going to set back Plogen's castle age by a few more seconds, but he will have a stronger eco going into it as well. Will be able to go right into double stable knights most likely, and has access to at least 1 gold inside of his base. Unfortunately, easily denied from Mayan's crossbows early castle age here. Erikur forward to annoy again with the angry housewife still alive here. Couple of extra palisades going up here just to make sure they don't accidentally break through here. Not a big threat obviously, but here's a spear as well. Maybe it's preemptively queuing those because you know what to expect from Berbers anyway. They have cheaper cavalry, of course they'll be making the cheap knights and camels and everything here. It seems to be only 1 lumber camp here for Erikur, that's why he went for the second mill. He did conserve. Instead of going for the second lumber camp, he then went for the mill to mill this deer in the back to save some time instead of pushing, because his Eagle Scout was busy trying to deny walls forward. So he found a way to boost his food eco without losing wood eco needed to get blacksmith and range up here. It's still, it's not optimal, but with 30 villagers like this, but they're spread out, so they're bringing in resources at a decent rate here. Castle Age on the way for Plogen as well, or just kicked in. It is going to be one stable to begin with, so no immediate production of the knights and camels here, and/or camels. Maybe camels doesn't apply against Mayans actually, because they won't be making any cavalry. But knights indeed, and getting the +2 defense, even getting forging now before sending out the knights. So that is pretty interesting to see that he knows this up against archers. Obviously, he knows what's going to come his way. Eagle warriors wouldn't make sense here for Erikur, because Castle Age knights with full upgrades would be able to challenge them easily. So it's definitely going to be, as Plogen also has scouted, it's going to be the crossbows here. Even a third stable, which is justified for Berbers. They do get a discount. Stable units cost 15% less in Castle, 20% less in Imperial Age. Then you have the villagers, movecasters, and camel archer as a counter to cavalry. Doesn't apply here, but yeah, I think it's only the stable units. The Berbers not having the best time against Mayans here, I'd say. Of course, knights are great against archers. They have halberdiers as only pikes, but they have full blacksmith upgrades for the infantry, so could have some complementary unit. They have champions, obviously, Berbers, against if the opponent goes for Eagle Warriors for raids at some point. But I favor Mayans here a little bit, as the militia have finally broken through here, but will be chased down by knights. Obviously, that's a little bit of delay from Plogen to go forward though, as the scout get picked out by a TC. One TC for now for Plogen, going to commit all the food into Knights production here, trying to get that army lead and have more map control with unit presence overall here. Palisade gate could be broken through here, +1. Oh, I saw the second defense for Plogen, so for some reason he must have cancelled it for the army numbers maybe. Quick malls going up for Plogen for now, and seems to be keeping the aggression out for the time being. There are palisades to the sides, no holes anywhere, double palisades in the far end corners as well. Military numbers could be worried here, but if you're able to keep these walls up and defend with Mayans, you have all the time in the world to go into monks for defense, to go into spears for defense, or rather pikemen. And with your 15% longer lasting eco, you don't really need to stress the middle as much with Mayans either, because your golds will last effectively longer. Erikur completely committing to the boom here now, and to stone for a defensive castle, maybe into plumed archers, because it's not on gold at all. He's committing to stone, and he's committing to at least 2 TCs production here. Meanwhile, Plogen with some houses and some middle presence here, just to get the heads up if any Mayans army passes through here. So knights just causing discomfort here for the time being. Plogen only with the cavalry for now. I don't see him adding any ranges just yet. I think he was counting on having breaking through and having the numbers potential, and getting the raids in with the knights here. Forward siege is coming though. I'd say that should be scorpions here against the pikes, if you can see the pikes behind the walls here. That is, you're probably expecting them as well, but I don't think Plogen really sees extra barracks and pikes here. Let's see what he goes for from the siege workshop here. Ram could work out as well to break through the buildings and be able to raid. Erikur does get some conversions here though. That's monk RNG luck for you, and siege workshop idling for now. Wood and gold situation not allowing any siege workshop investment just yet. Military numbers evening out as well, so monks and pike defense. Strong defense from Erikur here. Doesn't really need to expand as said, because the gold will last 15% longer and there's still much gold to be taken here. Military being mainly trash here, and a little bit of monks. You can't stay at home forever though, because in that sense you're giving up the whole map to the enemy. Plogen now with serious army presence in the middle, 18 knights here, dropping houses to make it more awkward for Erikur to place his own buildings close to his home base here. So if Erikur wants to take the middle now, he'd have to castle here, or I mean drop his own buildings at the appropriate places here. It looks like it's a ram indeed, and actually right now Erikur, unless he goes into Redemption Bonk, he doesn't have a response to rams here. Pikes, of course, but they are on the wrong side of the wall. I like the addition of a couple of scouts here from Plogen as well. And then that means he has an easier time sniping monks on the other side. There's 6 monks and pikes full defense mode here for Erikur. Doesn't seem too worried about the units coming forward here. He has the responses, he has +1, +2 on the pikemen, only missing the Castle Age upgrade here for them to be completely upgraded for Castle Age. And Erikur immediately plugs the gap, lets the pikemen out, and sort of forces Plogen to fight here. Imagine having a couple more scorpions in the mix here. There are 2 in the queue, could be enough here to provide cover fire against the pikes, but then there are the monks in behind here as well, and not the prettiest fight ever for Plogen, who is behind in villagers, is committing to this 1 TC all in here. He can't afford to lose his numbers here. He has to bail on this. Erikur is with some next level defensive play here, with not investing more than necessary. He's committing it to 6 monks and the rest is trash, so there's so much more gold being spent here by Plogen as well. Plogen extending with the 2nd TC now, so maybe there's hope yet if he can starve Erikur of resources at home, but the longer lasting resources and maybe a defensive castle here for Erikur could potentially just stop any entrance here from Plogen. Or if Erikur gets even more pikes into the mix, he could challenge the middle and have some protection for his villagers to build a castle in the middle and start claiming the middle for further golden zone control. Barracks goes down, that's good news for Plogen. That means a tougher time for Erikur to replenish the numbers, but look at the barracks going up behind here as well. It's going to go full into keep this full defensive mode, I think. Battering ram soaking some pikemen fire here, but then again there are the monks. If you target the right units here, you could get 6 knights for free here for Erikur. And the light cab, because of the pikes that are in the way, you can't really run in and sight the monks either. Here comes a 3rd TC of Erikur on a very narrow wood line here, but in a strategic position still. I almost can't talk anymore, but in a strategic position to defend against the enemy army coming in from this direction. So I understand the placement, even resource-wise somewhat inefficient. You will have a great defensive capabilities here. Instead of dropping a castle right away, you just go for the TC here to have a place to save builders, to drop garrison monks and pikes if needed as well. And here comes the castle for Erikur in the middle. Military numbers have just shifted completely in Erikur's favor now. Got a couple of conversions here. Actually have 5 Mayans Knights here with full upgrades. Not every day you see that. Here come the villagers to drop a castle almost on top of Plogen's DC here. And Plogen only with 7 military to fend off this. I'm afraid he doesn't stand a chance. This castle will go up and he will be the first one to have a castle in the middle. Pike's out of position though, so Erikur actually made a mistake there. He has to bail on that castle. But yet again, Plogen will be losing numbers. KDs look pretty even here, but remember that those have been knights trading against pikemen and monks, and Plogen, given his economic situation as well, is still down villagers. He is struggling for food and gold, will be after losing the middle especially, because his home gold mines are almost depleted. He has to tap out and call the GG. Again, fantastic defensive play by Erikur here, but we shouldn't discourage Plogen's choices either. He's kind of out-saved here with Berbers against Mayans, simply because he can't play to all of Berber's strengths. He has the mobility, which is fantastic, but camels don't apply. Camel archers wouldn't come into play against Mayans, so a bit of an unlucky matchup there. So Plogen could have maybe been better off with a draft for these sets, not risking or having a little bit of a heads up as to what the opponent might go for the different maps. Maybe even sniping mines. But let's look at the stats here. Overall score 2000 more for Erikur. 60, 61, 49, 60, that's some conversions. Let's do 12 conversions for Erikur in the end. That's 12 free knights right there. A stronger eco as expected for mines overall. Faster castle age, that was the Drush fast castle. Drush didn't really do too much other than force quick walls though, which is still a wood investment, so arguably some value there. 90 to 68 villagers, and in the end, let's look at the timeline, what that says for us here. Plogen with huge army advantage here, but was never allowed to get inside Erikur's base. It's almost as if he should have had some ranged option earlier, if he could afford it somehow. Just a few archers or anything, skirmishers, to try and stop repairs and quick walls.